Hey everybody, thank you for joining me today. So today's video is going to have a little bit of voiceover, and then when we get into the coloring bit, I'm going to let the music kind of play, and then towards the end I will pick back up and just talk about finishing off the card. So as always, we pre-treat our paper with some of the EK Success powder tool. And then we're going to take the Versamark ink and stamp up our stamp. And this one is a new stamp. So I do wind up inking it twice because I want to make sure, especially on this black watercolor paper, that the paper absorbs, or it gets a lot of that ink on it, because it's a soft paper. It's hard to explain unless you get it and play with it, but like when you cut it, it's very fuzzy. And so when I'm heat embossing on it, it almost feels like you need to stamp it like 3 or 4 times to really build up a good amount of ink on there, so that the embossing powder has something to stick to. Okay, so once we hit that up, we're going to heat this with the heating tool. But what I was saying before, because I'm sure this has a little bit of a weird break, because all of a sudden my video voiceover just stopped recording. But what I was trying to say was, if you get this black watercolor paper and start using it and are testing it out, leave comments down below, either on this video or previous gouache videos, to let me know what you think about it. Because most of the time, the watercolor paper I'm used to using, it's really hard. It's not as soft as this black. So I'd like to hear what other people's opinions. So I decided for this to pull out my new 36 pan watercolor set from Altenew. I played with this on white paper, and it seemed like it was really, it was a much more pigmented watercolor than you normally get with watercolors. Like, not quite gouache, but just a little bit thicker. That's what it felt like. And I kind of find that it's thicker, but you still need to add layers, even with this particular watercolor paper. So you're gonna see me adding lots of layers with the pink flowers, and sometimes I just can't help myself and I keep going and going and going, but at some point you do have to tell yourself it's okay to stop. And then we're gonna color in the leaves using some of the green, and I want to say we add a little bit of red too. So I'm going to let this play, and towards the end I will come back and share with you what we're going to do to kind of finish off the card. Okay, you guys, so I'm going to hop back on real quick. So on here, you see I'm just grabbing some of the red and hitting a few of the berries. And then once we're done with the berries, we're going to clean off the brush, which I'm just using a paper towel to like kind of squeeze out some of the water and clean off the color. And then we're going to let this dry a little bit. I'm going to put this up and we'll turn this into a card. We're going to come right back. All right, so here we go. I'm going to take, sorry for the zoom out, that was kind of weird. We're going to take this and kind of cut it down to, I want to say it's 5 1/4 by 4. And we're going to, it looks like I'm going crazy with the cutter, but I'm just doing that because, like I said, this particular paper is very fuzzy. And so I just want to make sure it doesn't tear it weird when I go to cut it. So that's why you see me kind of like trying to press down and I go across it like what feels like 300 times, but okay. That's a story for another day. So my measurement was wrong because I just forgot. This stamp is really big. So I wind up having to do a 5 by 7 card. So for this one, what I would do to have just like a 1/4 of an inch, I would just make it 4 3/4 by 6 3/4. And then that way you have a nice even border going all the way around. And then I put down our tape and some art glitter glue, which allows me time if I need to pull it up and move the main image. Now, okay, you guys, so I'm bringing out this happy birthday again. I'm telling you, for this last 2 weeks, this happy birthday has been the struggle be real, okay? So I decided it's too big. I didn't want to cover up all the coloring, all the, you know, the pinks and the yellows. So I'm going to find a little sentiment strip and trying to figure out where to place it with this image. I didn't like it up at the top. I wasn't feeling it in the middle or on an angle. I was trying to find a smaller one. It just really was driving me nutty buddy. So I finally just decided to go with one. I'm going to put some tape on it, a little bit of glue, and just glue that sucker down and call it a day. Because sometimes that's all you want to do. Just finish it already. You know what I mean? That's what you're screaming to yourself. Pick something and call it a day. So I decided I wanted to hit this with a little bit of splatter. And normally I would bring out a splatter box or something else, something that could protect my surface. Yeah, that's how ready I was for this to be done. I just started splattering. I'm like, I'll clean this up later. So here are the close-ups. I like how it came out. I actually consider this a very controlled splatter because I didn't go as crazy as I normally would. Just a little bit, just to give it a little something something. Because with the heat embossing, sometimes you get little white specks on this particular paper because, like I said, it's so soft. It's an interesting material to play with. But thank you guys for joining. Make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and share button. And click here and here if you want to see some other new to me product videos. And I hope you guys have a great day.